Hello, my name's Caroline Murray and I'm an equine nutritionist at Bailey's Horse Feeds, and I'm here today with Lynn Russell at Lynn's Yard in Surrey. So as you can see, we've got a selection here of some of the Bailey's products that we do, but we obviously do have more than this in our range, and all are very different and suit the needs of different horses in different situations. So in a moment, I have a chat with Lynn about which one she specifically feeds to which type of horse, to give you a bit more of an idea of the work that they can do. But as a general, in my role as a nutritionist, then really I need to know and give advice of just how to feed these feeds. So something we're all a bit tempted to grab a bucket and grab a scoop and chuck it all in and, you know, hope for the best, but we can make it a little bit more specific, which is where all my bits and bobs here come into it. So we've got here pretty much a standard scoop, a feed scoop. This is a Stubbs one, so when anyone refers to a scoop, then usually this is the one that they refer to. So looking at what we've got here, so the horse and pony cubes, one of these scoops will typically hold about 4 pounds, that's 1.8 kilos of a cube. It will then hold 3 pounds, so around 1.3 kilos of a mix. And then really, when you get into the feeding of supplements and balances and things like that, so like the Outshine supplement we have there, then we refer to that in mugs. So in this one here, that will hold ½ pound, so about half a pint. So either if you've got your jug at home that you use in your kitchen, or you've got one of our measuring cups, that's the best way to go about feeding this. Okay, so with our feeds, all of the cereals that are included, we want to make sure that they're as digestible and as accessible to the horses as possible. So all of the cereals in all of the Bailey's feeds go through a cooking process called micronization. So for example, the maize that's included, it will start like this, so more of like your whole sort of sweet corn look, and then it goes through the cooking process, so it basically gets soaked and then heated, and then the grains split, and in the case of maize, it comes out looking more like cornflakes, so something that both you and your horse can have for breakfast.
I don't think so.
Maybe not quite so tasty.
No.
So
No.
That's an area we do just to make sure that we're trying to keep the horses as healthy as possible and that you get the most out of the feeds. And that's with the hard feed side of things. And really, when you're looking at your quantities and we're looking at the scoops, to make sure that you feed no more than 1 scoop of, say, your cubes, or 1.5 scoop of your mix per feed. And then if you want to add a little bit of your chaff on top, of your sugar beet, obviously not overloading it, because as we all know, oh Lynn, if you can pass me the rugby ball behind you.
Of this?
Yeah.
I wonder why
So
you
this,
bought that.
this
We were going to
does
have a game.
this does have a purpose with the horses, and not that I'm any good at rugby, but this represents the horse's stomach. So if you think, it is about the size of a rugby ball, so if you're popping in more than really 1 to 1.5 of these, it's just going to get pushed through, squeezed out, because it's small, it's inflexible, so it's not only overloading the system, it's wasting your money as well. So out of my bits and bobs here.
Speaking of your bits and bobs, I want to know why we've got this.
Well,
this has intrigued me.
this is very specific.
This is what my dogs would play with. I don't know what you're going to do with it.
Very technical,
And this one.
very scientific, and the football sock is the best way to describe it.
Okay.
And this is just to illustrate the importance of fibre in the diet. So, as we all know, horses have evolved as trickle feeders, so ideally we want them to be munching on fibre all the time, so that their intestines are nice and full and flowing of fibre at all times.
Okay.
So this is good. This is
Okay.
a nice full, all the hay, haylage passing through, keeping it all open, keeping it all working. And then this one, that the dogs have been playing with, will represent, unfortunately, the intestines if there isn't a constant supply of fibre. So where you'll see that you get these gaps in there, so you can get these impactions, get these blockages, but also in severe cases of colic you can get twists in the gut, in the intestines. So keeping that constant supply, the trickle feeding, ensures you come out with a nice full football sock.
Okay, fair enough.
So let's get away from the football socks and go back to these feeds. So Lynn, with all your range of horses, not just the cobs, the ex-race horses, which ones do you
Well, this
tend
is
to go
a selection
for?
of everything that I've got in the tack room, and basically the one thing I give to all of them is I give them plenty of golden chaff, and you'll know that when I order the feed because I have more golden chaff than anything else. So that's my start. For my cobs, for the show cobs that are carrying what I call enough condition, then I give them the Bailey's No. 2 nuts, and I give them the Everyday here. And regardless, I always give all of them loads of outshine because I'm looking to produce a horse with a good quality coat to start my show season with. So that's my basics for the cobs. Horses obviously, like people, get bored if they have the same food all the time, so I'll quite often substitute either the Everyday or the No. 2 nuts with the Bailey's Meadow Sweet because it just gives them a complete change. But I will always, as I say, keep the outshine. If I'm looking to build up condition on the cobs, then I won't be giving them the No. 2 nuts, I'll be giving them the Bailey's No. 4 nuts. But again, I will still work with this mix and with this mix.
It's the base of your diet.
Because it is the base, and again the golden chaff, because the cobs are much easier to get the weight and condition on than my thoroughbred horses. Now the thoroughbred horses won't get that. Probably once they're really in feed condition won't get that. They will get this, which has got some outshine in it already, but I still do give it to them. They will get the all-round, and they will also get, if they are poor, the Bailey's Prep Mix. And I found that really, really beneficial to build the racehorses up. And they do eat it because racehorses are much, much more fussy feeders than the cobs. In fact, sometimes the cobs live on what racehorses can eat. So nothing ever goes to waste here because the cobs would eat anything, but the racehorses don't. So we've kind of got the yard split into two. We've got the cob feed and we've got the thoroughbred feed. And obviously if a horse goes off its feed, then I've got plenty of food to tempt it back again.
So we hope you've enjoyed listening to some of the advice that you've heard here today. And just to sort of wrap up with regards to the feeds and the products that you see here, then if you do look at the back of the bag, there will always be general feeding guides. The contact number, contact detail of the feed company will be on the back also. So just to stress that each horse is an individual, and therefore, although the guidelines are there, do always check, contact the feed line or via the website, and just get peace of mind that you're feeding the correct feed and amounts for your horse. So I'd just like to say thank you to Lynn for hosting this here today, and look forward to seeing more of your success in the future.
Bailey's success, you mean?